This Carter Page piece, I can't speak to what the hell, but I'm excited to hear
this long battle he has been enduring to clear his name. Carter, we want to
well, it's not going to work, Carter, because I think you're full of shit.
thank you so much for coming on the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing as well as can be expected, Dan, and thanks for having me, and thanks for everything you're doing to help expose the truth.
Well, you know,
Excuse me, I'm the one exposing truth here. This is the guy who's helping you with your cover story. This is one of those like, hey, thanks for helping me with my alibi, bruh. Just remember, I was with you all night.
I'm not one of those guys to go, yeah, I told you so. But I'm one of the millions of Americans who watched this unfold, who didn't believe it on its face value when it all began back in 2015, wondering.
So you just were just hunting based on confirmation bias?
What was going on?
I think everything against Trump is totally fraudulent. Like these guys, what is there bad about these? Perfect. I mean, look at them.
Didn't trust, obviously, Hillary Clinton's campaign whatsoever and the information coming out from there. And then
Washington Examiner paid Fusion GPS for the Christopher Steele dossier, during which time Christopher Steele slept with Ivanka Trump, allegedly. That's interesting. And when he was done with it, they decided since Trump was the front runner, they didn't want it anymore. So they went to the Hillary Clinton campaign. They bought it because they were like, oh, okay, this is Oppo research. This will be useful against him. Then they read it and was like, peeing on beds in Moscow. We can't use this. We think we're going to win and we don't want to dirty ourselves up even dealing with this dude. And they shelved it. And so Christopher Steele went to the FBI with it.
And we watch as these aides.
Carter Page salivating makes me nauseous. Yeah, it's weird.
Like yourself, George, the good general, Flynn, all these people are
the good general
dropping as this Russian collusion hoax manifests and becomes bigger and bigger from 15, 16, 17, just carried on throughout the presidency.
Until Rod Rosenstein stopped them from looking into Trump's finances. You know.
Entire presidency, called him illegitimate. And now we know, and if people would put it out there, it was all BS. And
no, it wasn't.
Made up. And Carter, we feel so bad for you, man. I don't even know.
I don't.
Just tell folks, back up 4 or 5 years and give them the background on how this all.
Yeah, watch his eyebrows. No. Let me tell the truth. This is absolutely the behavior. I'm like a human lie detector.
Started in the hell you've been through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Dan, I think you've.
Somebody asked, didn't Steele go to McCain? McCain sent it to the FBI. Yeah, he was the one who referred him.
You've outlined it pretty well at a high level. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a total. You guys got all the details you needed. This was all BS from 2015. I thought so, and everybody else thought so. And we just watched it be more BS and stuff. Tell us how I'm right.
As we keep learning now, and as I've known since the very beginning, it's just there are so many additional people involved in perpetrating this complete hoax.
Yeah, Sergei Kislyak.
So this was, it wasn't just the Hillary Clinton campaign. It was a network of lawyers associated with the Democrats, and literally
a network of lawyers.
The DNC, the Democratic Party, paying for this entire sham. So
the DNC didn't pay for the Mueller investigation or any of that stuff. What are you talking about?
Really, what we've continued to see over the last.
What does that even mean? We know who paid for what. Christopher Steele was paid twice for that thing.
Several years is just one step after another. And I think, as you correctly stated, zero or almost no whatsoever acknowledgement of the truth. They just, they continue to throw additional lies out there to just distract from this terrible story, which is just continued to unfold.
What is that? Did anybody, was there any information in that other than they won't even say that they were wrong when they weren't wrong?
Yeah, and I love to throw the mainstream corporate media lapdogs under the bus because I'm not
one. I'm just hanging out on What the shit is this? One America News? Is this OAN? Honest to God, it's Real America with Dan Ball. 2 balls, no waiting.
I think if anybody wants to talk about an insurrection and treasonous acts, I say this.
Yeah, January 6th counts. Yeah.
This weekly on this show. I think the mainstream media over the last 4 or 5 years, particularly pertaining to your case, the Russian collusion hoax, they're guilty of treason because they've done nothing.
So we should shoot the mainstream media for following these stories,
but perpetuate this lie that this occurred. And as all this comes out, as
you can see how Carter Page is like, dude, I'm trying to shoehorn my lie into what you're saying, and I've got a very narrow area where I can even talk without stepping outside and getting in legal trouble. So can you please stop playing fast and loose with the pronouns?
The president, I'm sure you saw, released the documents on his last few days in the White House.
No, he didn't.
It proves that it was all a setup. And they won't even cover it. Even when the lawyer, what's his name, Kleinsmith, gets the slap on the wrist for lying to the FISA court in that email, making up a direct lie right there. This is a guy entrusted with.
By the way, the change that he made, that this dude, hold on one second. It doesn't work on that screen. That Kleinsmith made it harder, made it less likely that Carter Page would have his FISA warrant re-upped. The lie would have benefited, and yet there was still enough information to go forward with it.
The law, an attorney for the FBI, he lies and gets a slap on the wrist. That just goes to show.
He didn't lie. He downplayed something that should have been played up.
The corruption started in the FBI.
Because Carter Page was literally, if that guy had gone further with what he was doing, they wouldn't have re-upped the FISA warrant. Good Lord.
Comey goes all the way down. We know from Strzok and Page and those text messages.
I mean, this is like a mobbed up journalist interviewing a lower level mob guy after they bought their way out of a trial by threatening the jury.
And then obviously Mr. Steele and the Steele dossier, which they knew.
Jesus Christ. What is up with Carter? Hang on, man. I know I'm muggy, but goddamn.
Andy McCabe knew and the FBI knew it didn't hold water. Yet they.
Can you imagine watching television with Carter Page? Yeah. Do you want to watch another episode? No, my head might fall off.
Used it to go after you and others.
Yeah, I think the sad part about it, Dan, is I was literally begging Mr. Kleinsmith back in April 2017. Almost 4 years ago, just begging him to help because I was getting almost constant death threats related to these complete lies.
And he helped you. So now we find that out. Here's a new piece of information, ladies and gentlemen, that during the time that Mr. Kleinsmith was, allegedly lied in the FISA document, which we now know downplayed Carter Page, that at the same time, contemporaneously, Carter Page was begging him to help him out. So Kleinsmith actually throws himself in front of a goddamn bus for this dipshit. And that's news. This is news. Holy hell. We now, dude, he fixed the FISA warrant re-up request to make it less likely that Carter Page would get his FISA warrant re-upped at the request of fucking Carter Page. Look back, listen to this shit.
Because I was getting almost constant death threats.
Hold on. I got to go back a little further. Hold on.
Kleinsmith back in April.
McCabe knew and the FBI knew it didn't hold water, yet they used it to go after you and others.
Yeah, I think the sad part about it, Dan, is I was literally begging Mr. Kleinsmith.
Ew.
Back in April 2017, almost 4 years ago, just begging him to help because.
And he did. And that's what he got busted for. That is literally the time. That's a timestamp on why that dude helped. This is actually Accidental breaking news. Yeah, he does sound like Emo Phillips a little bit. Like if he out of character. That's kind of amazing. Was the honesty tongue out? I'm gonna go with yeah.
I was getting almost constant death threats related to these complete lies. And I think, as you're correctly noting, with respect to the mainstream media, they kept pushing these false dossier-related allegations. And I just...
The dossier-related allegations against you are sound.
I kept getting death threats, and I was just hoping that there might be some protection. Unfortunately, it's a very political...
He did. He protected you.
...body, and unfortunately, the Washington establishment, including...
There it is, the establishment. Big tech, big media, big Democrat.
Including at all levels, really. Not only...
Yeah, everybody. I mean, like National Guard troops, janitorial service, anybody, all the secretarial staff, anybody who, the FBI guys who sit in vans all day listening to recordings of mobsters trying to bust them for child trafficking and drugs. Everybody. I mean, it's just gross.
A relatively junior lawyer such as Mr. Kleinsmith, but also up to the highest levels of the Democrat Party and the federal bureaucracy were really pushing these complete lies, doing tremendous damage to not only our country, not only to innocent Americans such as myself.
You're not. You weren't.
But also to the very establishment of our government, particularly as outlined in the U.S. Constitution.
How? Please cite the Constitution.
The principles of which, or nearly all principles of which, have been completely trampled on over these most recent years.
Yes, his life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness have been completely shit on by the fact that he was a material courier for the Trump organization to send written documents to and from Russia. Boo fuckity who.
With little end in sight in terms of, actually achieving justice here.
Yeah. Carter, you know what happened to you? And by the way, you remain...
It could happen to anybody who carries a briefcase full of documents to meet with GRU officials and then comes back with their reply and doesn't engage in email, just written documents.
So calm. I'm so amped up about this. I get fired up when anybody even brings up the word.
Well, see, you can get amped up because you're just a sycophantic Trump supporter yelling about it. Carter Page isn't getting as excited about it as you are because he knows he's lying. He just knows he has to use this opportunity to dig himself out or he's completely screwed. So spies don't jump up and down, ever.
Russian hoax.
There's never been a moment where, like you see at the end of a James Bond movie, he goes, "I'm free."
I mean, I get fired up for you and for all the people involved.
Oh, who doesn't get fired up for Carter Page? Look, Carter likes that. Wait a minute, you get fired up for me? Do tell.
That their names were trashed, your lives were ruined, but it also...
Yeah, your life is in ruins, Carter. Nobody wants to hang out with you, man.
So, as you just alluded to, it hurt the country because you still...
It so did. I mean, we're all denied the great work that Carter Page could have done for us economically. What a loss that America doesn't have Carter Page at Wall Street connected like he should be, helping us solve the GameStop crisis.
Still have people today on the left who firmly believe that President Donald J. Trump, yourself and others, colluded with Russia. And
yeah, they did.
That he, in fact, was an illegitimate president. That's what they say when you ask him. I have friends.
Well, no, I believe he was voted in. There's a difference. There's a difference between, like, he's illegitimate if you want to say that in terms of the fact that he had help from Russia as far as the messaging of it. But I don't think there were material votes flipped necessarily. I think the Republicans, if anything, denied more people the right to vote, and that helped him more than any votes could be flipped in his favor. The reality is they coordinated messaging and WikiLeaks and all that kind of stuff together. That was the goal, to try and chip away at Hillary Clinton's weaknesses until her strengths, until they overwhelmed her, were overwhelmed by her weaknesses.
In this industry, that when I bring it up and go, but didn't you see what the lawyer lied? Didn't you see the steal?
Yeah, he lied to help Carter Page, dipshit, and he just told you that he was asking him to help, and he did.
Dossier was fake. Didn't you see that the DNC said, let's use this to get away from Hillary's emails? It's all out there in black and white.
No, it isn't. It isn't. If you're talking about Clapper's notes, then give me the unredacted version.
And they literally turned a blind eye.
The part where the Trump organization is saying that this is just to help Hillary Clinton get away from the email scandal. And then you redact everything, but this is just to help Hillary Clinton get away from the email scandal, and we're supposed to buy it?
And go, nope,
Yay.
Trump cheated, Carter cheated, they colluded with Russia.
They did, he did.
It's all lies.
No, it isn't.
It's not. And here's the proof.
That it isn't proof. The proof was, we looked at this shit, dude. You haven't even looked at the goddamn FISA warrant application.
Proof's in the pudding. It's out there. And people just are oblivious to it. Let's talk about your book.
Oh, boy. Carter Page has a book.
Because at least you now have a voice.
At least you have a book till it gets canceled.
In that manner, and maybe folks will read it and it will enlighten them to the.
I'm going to start reacting like Carter Page if they talk about his book being enlightening.
The truth. Abuse and power.
Hey, a new patron. Is that what happened? Did I miss it? Did it go over my head? Because I don't have the setup. You guys got to let me know. So thank you.
Innocent American was framed in an attempted coup.
Abuse and power. How an innocent American was framed in an attempted coup against the president by Carter Page. Abuse and power. Oh, my God. This is like Levin's unfreedom of the press.
Against the president. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't even need to read it. I mean, the title says it all.
Was. And thank goodness they didn't succeed. But it also damaged you, your career, and who you...
Yeah, his huge career. What? Giving speeches on economics in Russia that he's not qualified for? What was this all we heard about Hunter Biden? And meanwhile, Carter Page is supposed to be like the voice of economics? Jesus.
You are. So talk about the book and where you're at today. And I want to get to your lawsuit as well.
Turn the page.
Well, there's it's quite a long, complicated story, but really...
Yeah, that's why you wrote a book, I guess.
It's a...
yeah, just give us the Cliff Notes, brother. No one wants to buy this.
A real-life spy thriller on many levels.
Yeah, it's fiction.
Unfortunately, I think as, like with most spy mysteries, there's one story and there is some deceitful people working behind the scenes. In this case, not only within the intelligence community, not only in the United States.
Please tell me the writing is as good as the speaking.
But working in collusion with foreign spies that were literally paid for by the Democrat Party.
By the way, he means they paid Christopher Steele to go over there and he talked to some people.
So there's really many dimensions to it. I think it's a pretty...
I don't know if you're aware, but sometimes undercover cops actually talk to real-life drug dealers, and your tax dollars pay for that beer that they bought them. How do you like that?
Thrilling story, and I think in order to really fully understand the crimes that were committed against our democracy, against our president, and against a handful of innocent Americans, such
namely me,
as myself.
Right. Not so much Papadopoulos. He was kind of a dick, and we didn't really hang out.
It's really essential to set the historical record straight as we keep having.
Yes, this book is going into the historical record.
Lie after lie thrown out to the American public with very little understanding. And it's
of grammar.
It's great. I know, Dan, you've done a tremendous job with you and your show and everything that OAN has been doing to help expose the truth. But there's really a lot more where that came from. And I look forward to continuing to expose it as time goes on here. But it remains an uphill battle.
Hi, dummy. Sell your book. That's what he was helping you do. I recommend people read the book because blah, 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 blah. Did your agent not tell you? Oh, agent, sorry. I'm sorry. He's self-published.
Because of what happened to you, I would love to put this offer out there that when we have things concerning the FBI and other cover-ups, and I hate using the term, I never use a conspiracy theory because I believe when you hear about these things from one or two sources, okay, maybe. When you hear about them from 3, 4, 5, and by the way, there's ink, black and white to prove it, that's...
Yeah, we printed these out.
Called a cover-up. not a conspiracy theory. So I'm going to throw this out to you, Carter, as
anytime you want to come by, you come on over.
we watch and we
Honest to God, is he just? I want somebody. Can somebody cut to just like below his chair and just eggs are falling out? What the fuck?
we will watch closely here at OAN and Real America this Biden administration and what
Dun dun dun.
happens with the cover-up of his connections to China. I'd like to invite you back on at any time to be a
Yeah, come over in my house. Just flop on the couch, man. We'll just wake up. We'll talk show shit.
commentator and a contributor on this program, because I think you,
Yeah, he's offering him a
of
job.
all people, know damn well what corruption in
Damn well. I'm gonna swear.
D.C. looks like and what it can do to an innocent American's life, like it did to you.
What DC looks like and what it can do to an innocent American's life. Yeah, he's not going to do that. He's going to come on and pitch the book and do these little short segments, because the longer he talks, the more trouble he will get in. He literally couldn't do. I haven't seen this asshole in months. And this idiot comes on and literally tells us the timeline of when he was asking for help and the dude helped him by fixing his FISA warrant and it still went through. Good God.
Yours. So if you'll accept it, I'm sure we'll be having you back on real soon again, because let's face it, I don't see this FBI going after Biden.
Right. Why would they?
Well, I certainly appreciate it, Dan. And, we'll have to wait and see. I've always, for better and for worse, a similar situation. Literally 4 years ago, at the start of the Trump administration, I thought with a new administration
This is good. Keep going with this.
coming into place, that the bureaucracy would take steps to actually administer justice fairly and help to expose the truth. But
Trump failed miserably.
unfortunately,
They had to go with the evidence they actually had and not the fart air we're selling.
again, it remains quite an uphill struggle, and we've seen nothing but deceit,
Uphill battle.
and lies, and the unequal administration
Unequal?
of justice by government bureaucrats, to
Government bureaucrats don't actually mete out justice.
achieve a political outcome. So unfortunately, it's been a huge challenge, and we'll have to see how everything plays out. But
Yeah.
I always remain an optimist, and
You do.
we'll
You do.
see.
I don't know.
Yeah, optimistic that one day they'll arrest Biden for stuff that I said the DNC did to me before he even took office, that he's not even actually going after.
you
What
do it.
happens step by step.
I don't know how you do it, man. You just, you manage to stick to one lie and then just blather.
I don't know how you do it, Carter. Finally, how's the lawsuit going? I know you've been struggling, trying to clear your name.
Yeah, how's that lawsuit going? Please explain to us why you want closed discovery on your side.
Trying to get some, and I don't blame you, cash out of this because they ruined your life. I'm sure
You're not going to get it out of the book.
you weren't able to continue on doing what you were doing. And
What was he doing? Tell us what he was doing. Giving speeches on economics in Russia?
making a decent living at what you were doing because they ruined your name. So where's the lawsuit stand?
Yeah, please tell us.
Well, I have a few suits that are pending right now, and I think we're at relatively early stages, and
Yeah, I mean, it's only been years.
unfortunately, it goes back to just exactly what we're discussing in terms of the unequal application of justice. So, I mean, you
How so?
have to bear in mind, I think my main lawsuit, which is at the very early stages, against the FBI, the DOJ, and the U.S. government, which was working in collusion with the Democrat
Dun, dun, dun!
Party to perpetrate this hoax. We'll have to see. That's at quite early stages, and
It's at quite early stages. I don't have an attorney. I'm basically at the talking about it on OAN phase of a lawsuit.
they've asked for some delays to
Of course.
help try to.
Of course, since it has to do with national security and Russian agents and yeah, if we let people know, how we found out that you were part of the courier, it would get another one of our agents in the Kremlin killed, instead of the 6 that got bags put over their head and dragged out of the Kremlin because of Trump's loose lips. We want to be a little more careful this time.
Put their case together. Unfortunately for them, even the Obama-nominated DOJ Inspector General, Mr. Horowitz, came out with a massive 400-plus page report showing the over 17 errors and omissions. And, that's really
how many pages for 17 errors?
Tip of the iceberg. That was
tip of the Obama.
So over a year ago.
Errors and omissions. Such a nice way to say cover up and lies. Sorry, Carter, to cut you off there. I love how they use those words. Errors and omissions. No, cover up and lies.
Oh, yeah? Explain to us the walkback that OAN did on the air about the Mike Pillow allegations about Dominion. Is that because I think you guys might have used errors and omissions in part of that statement.
An innocent man. Carter Page, thank you so much for coming on the program. Slap that book up there one more time. It's Abuse and Power. I'll say it again, how an innocent American was framed in an attempted coup against our president. Speaking of Donald J.
Against the president, not our president. He's no longer, quote, our president.
Trump right there. Carter,
the former president.
Carter Page, thanks for coming on the program. As I said, you are welcome anytime, sir. Best of luck to you, and we'll stay connected.
Oh, hello. The Love Boat soon will be making another run.
Thanks so much, Dan.
Yep.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, Carter and balls together again. Oh my God. All right. So here's the biggie. Okay, we have time. So far, show's going okay. Is the video all right and audio is okay? Yeah, Carter Page is not innocent. Bunch of bullshit. And the dude, he literally can I just pat myself slightly on the back for making some news just by going with that Carter Page one and pointing that fact out? We knew, if you watch the show regularly, when that statement came out, when they charged him with making errors and omissions in his filing of the Carter Page FISA re-up, that we looked at it. And it actually made it less likely that the FISA warrant would go through. We now know that Carter Page was begging him to fix it for him under the Trump administration, and he fucking did. But we're supposed to feel sorry for him.